So for this week's exercise of the week, the term I use for this exercise of a wide grip pull down is pretty general, and the goal of this exercise is to just fucking rail like all the muscles of your upper back. So before I get into specifics for this exercise, we're just going to look at these target muscles and then where they attach on our body. So some of the muscles that we're looking at, they originate on our spine and then they insert or attach onto our scapula, and these are our traps and our rhomboids. And then the other muscles that we're concerned about, they attach from our scapula onto the humerus or our upper arm. And this is the teres muscles and then the infraspinatus. And these are all the muscles that you can see as someone's like hitting the back of a bicep or something. And for this exercise, we are concerned about the motion that's occurring at both the shoulder blades and the upper arm simultaneously. But before we look at this coordinated movement, there are a few things I want to make sure that we can get correct setup-wise that will set us up for success as we do this exercise. So the first thing that we're looking for is you want a pronated grip. A fixed grip using like a common lat pull-down bar is fine, but anything where you have handles that can rotate, they are good as well because they allow for free movement to happen at your wrist. Neutral grip, like a neutral grip or underhand grip, isn't inherently bad, but they just will have different outcomes for the exercise. If we're doing a neutral grip, that's going to involve more of your lats, and then an underhand grip rotates our arms in, which will limit how well those muscles of the upper back can pull on our upper arm during this wide grip pull down. And then the other thing that we want to look for to make sure we're set up for success is having the wrist outside of the shoulder. If you're using the free moving handles, I'm using in one of these variations. As the weight comes back up, the hands can come closer together, but at this bottom position is where you want to make sure that your wrists are outside of the shoulder. So once you've got those two things checked off, we can get into how to actually perform this thing correctly. So I mentioned earlier that the movement we're focused in on is occurring at the shoulder blades and the upper arm simultaneously, and the key word here is simultaneously. The shoulder blade and the upper arm are meant to move together, and this is known as scapulohumeral rhythm. Trying to move the shoulder blade and the upper arm separately from each other will just lead you down the path of dysfunctional movement, joint pain, limited muscle recruitment, and then in turn just limited muscle gains, which you want to avoid at all costs. Unfortunately, this isn't well known, and the cue of squeezing your shoulder blades together first and then pulling the arm down is commonly used, and please do not do this. There is no benefit, and it will make your training worse if you do this. Initiating the movement with retraction puts the tension on the shoulder joint specifically and all of the small muscles surrounding it, and these muscles are not meant to be prime movers to take on big loads like this. So instead of making retraction or like squeezing your shoulder blades together, the first thing you do, you want it to be the last like 2 inches of the rep. You can start the rep by having some tension in your mid-back, but don't try to like fully squeeze them. Like if there was a pencil in between your shoulder blades, do not try to like squeeze that pencil as hard as you can before you even start moving. You can create some tension in those upper back muscles, but just don't try to overly squeeze them together. Once you have some tension in the upper back, then you want to pull the elbows out to the side and then pulling that bar into your chest. If you're using a variation like I am in one of these, using the moving handles, you can think about ripping those handles apart as you're pulling that bar into your chest. And then in the last few inches of that rep, that's where you can squeeze your shoulder blades together. Long term, this movement pattern is how you'll get the best muscle recruitment, as well as once this movement is coordinated correctly, this is how you can build the most strength, and what we all care about the most is building the most amount of muscle. The video demonstrations were specific to a pull down, as that's what I used as my exercise of the week in my weekly newsletter, which I'll put a link for you to sign up before. But all of these cues can be applied to any horizontal rowing if upper back is your goal. The newsletter that I mentioned also includes an additional topic with another correlating YouTube video that I'll be putting out. Also within that newsletter provides updates for free programming that I put out called Progression Programming. And then for each program that I make, I have a full video breakdown of the goal of the program, how to follow the program correctly to see the most results out of it, the exercises I chose specifically for that program and how they correlate with the goals. And then each program, I use Google Sheets, and I use this so people can follow along and track their progress. And within the Google Sheets document, the exercises are direct links to video demonstrations to make sure that you're doing the exercises correctly. On my website, evolutionaryaesthetics.com, you can download my Potent Priorities ebook, and it gives you 4 potent priorities: training, sleep, nutrition, and then movement, which is things you can do outside of the gym to optimize both the gains you see in the gym as well as like mental performance and overall physical health. These should be the foundations, whether you are brand new to the gym or I would argue professional bodybuilders. These, if you are not doing these things, any effort you put into things outside of these will just be wasted time if you can't do these foundational things first. If you know somebody that is initiating their rowing movements or anything pulling related, if they are starting the movement first with retraction and then moving their upper arm, please share this video with them so they can actually get some back gains. Or if you want to stay bigger than them, just don't share them this video, but at least subscribe to this channel so I can help you get more jack specifically. If you found this video useful, give her a like, leave me a comment, and we'll see each other in the next one.